You walked into the most expensive hotel in town. The staff already know you. You've reserved the penthouse suite. Before you can say a word, 3 hotel staff greet you to take care of your every need. One hands you a hot towel to refresh yourself. The other asks what drinks you would like served on your terrace. And as you walk through the hotel lobby, people see you. They don't know you, but they can't help but notice you and wonder what your life must be like. And they wonder in envy. If you want a life like that, learn to be a master storyteller, or as I say, story seller, because nothing sells like stories. I want to teach you these 3 story selling formulas so that you can create the life that you desire, because you'll be able to sell quality offers to anyone on the planet. And make no mistake, creating content is about selling. That is the end goal. None of us create content for the lulz. Unless you're insanely rich, then knock yourself out. For the rest of us, myself included, content rocks, but it's always with the intention of earning business. And if you want to do the same thing, you've got to have these 3 story selling formulas right now. I'm John Benson. This is Sales Copy Secrets. Did you catch what I did there? Sure you did, because you're sharp, you're witty, and doggone it, people really do like you, even though they keep spreading that rumor about you and that goat. But hey, you were on vacation, damn it. Give a guy a break. Okay, wait, was that me? Anyway, in case you didn't catch it, I started the video with a story, and it was a story about you. But that story hasn't happened yet, has it? Maybe it has. And if it has, can you give me your number? Let's hang out. But hey, that's actually 2 of the 3 story selling formulas that I love to use the most. And actually, I combine 2 into 1. And let's check out that first formula right now. It's called future pacing. Now, future pacing is an NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming term. And NLP is simply a way of communicating that helps bypass conscious blocks that prevent people from hearing your message as effectively as they could. And it also fires off some really juicy persuasion triggers in your prospect's mind, which is really cool for selling, okay? And future pacing is a story told as if it's already happened, but it's clearly set in the future. And here's the trick to pulling this off. Let's say that you're writing an email newsletter. Rather than start off with some boring listicle or ever wanted to X question that's so obviously rhetorical, it puts your prospect to sleep. No way. You hate sleep. Well, I mean, you hate it when your prospect sleeps. You know, you're like walking caffeine with your writing, man. You want to wake them the fuck up. So tell them a story about their favorite person in the whole wide world, which is themselves. Listen, I know not everyone is like a super narcissist or anything, but when it comes to buying things, we really are our favorite person. So let's talk like it. In the case of my introduction, I didn't even pace the future pacing, meaning I didn't say it's 3 weeks from today. I didn't have to. You locked in from the start because that's a life you want to see possible for yourself. And most of us, at least for most of us, it's a life that's yet to manifest. So there was no great need for me to tell you this is in the future. Now, I'm going to teach you this technique in a simple way, a foundational way, not with the fancy stuff. So you're going to start off your newsletter example that I just gave like this. Picture yourself 90 days from today, circle that date in your mind. Okay, that's it. But from this point on, every word you choose is in the past tense. Despite this being future pacing, the future is paced by moving it to a past tense framework in your customer's mind. That's the pacing part of future pacing that almost every copywriter screws up. They'll say things like, in 30 days, you'll slip back into your favorite jeans. Soon you'll be looking at yourself in the mirror. Just 30 days from now, saying, wow, look great. That's not future pacing. I'm talking about the future. I am bringing the future into the present by, of all things, speaking in the past tense. That's the trick. It makes your prospect's mind see this as if it's already happened. I want you to reread my introduction. Here it is again. You walked into the most expensive hotel in town. The staff already know you. You've reserved the penthouse suite. Before you can say a word, 3 hotel staff greet you to take care of your every need. One hands you a hot towel to refresh yourself. The other asks what drinks you would like to have served on your terrace. And as you walk through the lobby, people see you. They don't know you, but they can't help but notice you and wonder what your life must be like. And they wonder in envy. Now, I purposely ended all that with EDs. They wondered in envy. You walked through the bar and it worked just as fine. But not one sentence was in the future tense. It's really not present. It's highly past tense specific. And that is the power of future pacing. I can say anything reasonable in that story, and my friend, your mind will accept it as persuasive and realistic. So now let's take that future equals past model and apply it to weight loss, okay? We'll keep the present tense set up. Setting up the future pace is fine, but it's only a line, and here we go. Picture yourself 90 days from today, circle that date in your mind. You woke up this morning, past tense, feeling slimmer than you've had in years. When you went to the kitchen, past tense, your spouse looked at you twice, almost didn't recognize you. You look better than you did in college. It's not just your looks, though. It's your energy. People half your age are struggling to keep up. What's your secret is the question that you keep hearing the most. And you love it every time you hear it because you know the secret. You discovered it today when you saw John Benson in his beautiful face. Now, I threw in that last part because it's true. But notice I took that completely into the future, okay? Completely into the future. But that is what makes it powerful, and that is what makes it sell. Okay, story selling formula number 2 is called enter in the middle. Don't let your mind go there. I know you. This is one of my favorite story selling formulas. It's used all the time in the movies and television shows, self-help books, usually at the start of a chapter. And I used it in this intro as well. I started my story in the middle. I didn't say this. Hey, you became a member of Benson by taking advantage of my $1 YouTube trial. Look below. Isn't that a super cool way to smooth that pitch in there? Yeah. Then you made a whole bunch of money online. Then you started taking dream vacations. And you walked into a hotel. Okay. That's your normal story arc, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And that makes sense. But try starting it from the middle because people stop. They're like, wait, I'm curious. This is catching me off guard. It's a great way to grab attention. Now, here's another example, again, using a fitness content piece, but this would work for anything starting in the middle. Check this out. She walked through my door a shattered woman. I'd never seen Tracy in such a state, her mascara running down her face, staining the collar of her new white blouse. And I knew this time, she'd finally had enough. She was finally ready, even desperate to change. Now, this is a riff off of a middle entry story I wrote for a VSL years ago, and it captures your attention right off the bat. It's very high drama. It sounds like a television show, but it's super short. And you'll notice that these story selling formulas, they're short. They're not super long. You don't have to write a novel. You don't have to be Stephen King. No one wants to be Stephen King anyway, not even Stephen King. But hey, just a few sentences will work. But that makes the reader super curious. Who is this woman? Why is she crying? What was her big aha moment? From there, you can go right into the normal content and it will work like a charm. Work like a charm. Like, check this out. You know, it's a challenge to put your first funnel online, and that challenge can become so overwhelming, it can drive you to tears. And that's exactly what happened to my friend Tracy. You see what I did there? That's the start of the story. But it's way more powerful when I started at the middle of the story. So just try that. Okay, one more. Story selling formula number 3, and this is the embarrassing one for me. Nightmare story. I made the nightmare story famous when I created the very first VSL back in 2006. And that was a critical part of that formula, and it still is. People use it today. But this one takes a lot of courage on your part to pull it off. But if you can pull it off, wow, you can captivate a cold audience. You can get people emotionally invested in you that don't know you. You will increase your sales like crazy. And, you know, you can tell the story in just a few paragraphs if you really want to. But if you want to make a big impact, it's best to write something pretty meaty. I'm going to give you a cheap trick to do it pretty meaty here. Let's put my very first nightmare story on the screen first. And this is mine. This really happened. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to read it for real to prove a point. This will captivate you. Now, I said I would show you a cheap way to do it. Check out Benson below. Benson for $1 trial in the description. For $1, you can try it. Guess what? Benson's been trained to write nightmare stories. In fact, it writes like myself. So, hey, if you want an AI to do this for you, with a little bit of your background, it can create stories that will blow your mind, and you don't have to be a master storyteller. But hey, either way, let's look at this nightmare story from a formula perspective. And I want you to picture this, a worn out black leather jacket. That's the only picture that I ever showed on the screen. I'm John, and this is my magic jacket. This jacket helped me lose almost 70 pounds of fat. And today I'm going to show you how. Okay, that's how it started off. That was it. Very simple. People were probably wondering if it was a weighted jacket, but they didn't have them back then, or some kind of thermal fat burning jacket or whatever. It was just a normal old leather jacket, just a normal old leather jacket. So I started an open loop, an intrigue that didn't finish the thought. I didn't finish it. I kept them watching so their subconscious mind would want it resolved. Now, here's the rest of the story. And again, this actually happened. So I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done myself. And it's pretty embarrassing, but this is a true story. Long time ago for John, but this really happened. I remember the day when I decided enough was enough. I'm going to share the story with you now, even though it's really embarrassing. I think you need to know how deep down the rabbit hole I went before I discovered the stuff I'm going to share with you today that now allows me to live this amazing life. Now, I remember it was late on a Tuesday night, My friend Steve and I were leaving the office. It was really cold outside that night. And the reason I remember that is going to be really clear in just a moment. I walked outside and I got halfway to my car and I realized I'd left my coat in my office. It was cold enough where I realized it was cold, but I just, it crossed my mind, barely felt it. Is that because I'm so fat? I wondered. Is that why I'm not feeling cold? I think it was. I think I was insulated by all this ugly blubber. I was thinking, oh my God, it's already been a really rough day. And now I'm like, wow, I feel really tired. It's not even 7 o'clock. I feel crappy like I always do. But this day was really bad. Knowing that I had my own insulation just made me feel like total crap. So again, I didn't want to go get my coat. At that point, I just got in the car. I said, Steve, drive me to the nearest convenience store. I want some donuts. And that's how I was going to medicate myself. Wolf down some donuts. We were driving to a convenience store and it's raining. So the car is sliding all the way. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's because I'm so heavy. I'm weighted on one side. Now, I know that probably wasn't true, but that's how awful I was feeling. We drove past a corner not too far from a convenience store, and I noticed 2 prostitutes standing on the corner. I could tell by looking at them that they were probably and sadly addicted to crack. And I thought to myself, I'm addicted to a different kind of crack. I'm addicted to sugar. Sugar is like my crack. I'm an addict. There's no difference between me and them. To top it all off, I'm selling myself too. That's what I started thinking. I've become a food whore. Seriously. This is how bad my addiction to food and self-hatred have become. I walked into that convenience store, grabbed my 2 boxes of donuts, roughly a night snack at that time in my life, and I proceeded out to the checkout counter when I noticed that I had left my wallet in the office in that black leather jacket. And in a split second, I decided to do something I'd never thought I'd ever do. I stole those donuts. I hid them in my jeans. And the clerk didn't even look twice at me because my jeans were so big and baggy and the legs get tight in the waist. So it was easy to slip those boxes right under my underwear and hold them against my legs as I walked out of the store. In total shame and with a feeling of absolute desperation, I wolfed down half a box during the ride home. I'd never stolen anything in my life, maybe a pencil from school or something. I was feeling completely desperate at this point. How bad is this going to get? The depression was getting really, really bad. But you know what? That one day caused my entire life to change. I vowed to read every book and crawl under every rock if necessary to break my addiction to sugar and lose my excess weight or die trying. And the good news for you is this. Not only did I figure out how to drop the weight and keep it off, I figured out how to enjoy my donuts while doing it. I'm going to share my discovery with you in just a moment, so keep watching. Okay, I know that's a long story. It's intense. It's all true. I kind of changed a few of the little details when I was rewriting it, but it's launched the VSL industry back in 2006. And still today, virtually every VSL has a nightmare story in it of some kind. Again, my trained by myself AI, Benson, can write these for you for $1. Details in the description down below. I truly hope this helped you. Now get to it.